At Devonport High School for Boys, we introduced emotional logic almost 4 years ago. The reason for this was to help our students build strategies to gain emotional resilience in the hope that this provides some protection against developing mental health issues later on. The great thing about emotional logic is that it is a tool that totally makes sense. We teach our students to problem solve in a variety of ways through the academic curriculum areas, and this is no different.
We have been starting to learn about emotional logic in school.
Emotional logic is trying to make sense of our emotions and physical reactions of a feeling of loss.
In the first lesson, we used the gingerbread man to write down what we might be feeling physically. I wrote down we might be nervous and might have sweaty palms.
A common reaction to a feeling of loss is crying.
I put down that you might have butterflies in your stomach. We then moved on to look at the 4 emotion stepping stone cards: anger, shock, guilt and denial.
Each of these cards have a useful purpose on the back. An example is for anger, it's useful because it gives you energy to act and makes you heard.
We were then given the opportunity to order the cards in the way we would feel if we lost something such as an iPhone. I put shock, denial, anger and guilt. But it is important to remember that not everyone has the same, and you can't judge people because of the pattern they put their cards in. We then ticked the words that applied to us when we were feeling lost. This helped us identify the key emotions of how we might feel. So if most of us ticked the GER section, then that could identify anger as the strongest emotion out of the 4.
Following on from our emotional logic training, in session 2 we have been learning about safe places. A safe place is somewhere you can think of or go to plan about what to do next when you have suffered some sort of loss or setback.
Oh no. I've lost my phone. Where is it?
Remember what we did? You were right.
Yeah, No, I've not lost it. It's somewhere here. Just need to find it.
Hang on, go to your safe place.
Okay. That's what I need to do now then. Clear your mind. There. There it is. Thanks, Morgan.
What did you think of?
I thought of a movie where the main character finds something and doesn't know what to do with it. They solve the problem eventually, and that really helped me to think of a way to solve my problem to this.
That must have helped.
Yeah, helped a lot.
We have found several losses associated to the loss of a mobile phone, such as ability to communicate, not able to use the internet, lost parents' trust, lost the ability to access homeworking, lost pocket money to pay for another phone, lost the ability to play on games, and finally, not able to contact parents if the bus breaks down.
The hidden loss I have selected is not able to use the internet. I use the internet a lot. I feel a little bit shocked if I couldn't access the internet because of how much I use it.
I'm going to choose lost the ability to access homeworking, and I would feel a bit shocked about that because usually every day on a weekday in school we usually get homework, but what happens if we can't access the homework? We'll get told off, get logins, so I'd feel pretty shocked and angry. It was mostly my fault that I lost my phone.
That's it.
After you've identified what you have lost or at risk of losing, it is then important to create an action plan. You can then bargain to help get that thing back.
Other times you may need to accept you have lost something. This is called acceptance.
We have learned a few bargaining techniques. Some people are passive and some people are aggressive, but to be assertive is the best kind. This can take time to practice and a long time, but ultimately it is the best.
Emotional logic has helped me because I think I can now manage my emotions when I face a setback. For example, my dog got lost for a couple of days, and through that time I felt that I could deal with it better than I would have without emotional logic. I think emotional logic will help me in the future when I do my GCSEs because it can be stressful during exams. I think that I will be able to cope with this period in my life better now.
Learning emotional logic has helped me to deal with things like sadness and anger and how to deal with my emotions. I think that learning these skills will help me in my later life to deal with setbacks and failure. Through emotional logic, I have learned how to deal with loss and sadness. I think that now I've learned emotional logic, I can deal with pressures from the outside world and cope with my own emotions.
Well, I think emotions are the things that stay. They make you who you are. So when learning to understand them and get a deeper meaning from them, that's making the best you possible. And I think emotional logic has definitely helped me. It's helped me build better relationships with others. It's helped me deal with failure and sadness, which can definitely help in later life. I think it'll be one of those lessons I remember years on after school and can definitely help me.
Over the period of time that we've developed emotional logic and delivered it to our students as a structured series of lessons to each of our new cohorts of children, we've seen a significant reduction in more serious incidents of poor behaviour, which may have initiated from the feeling of loss, for example, not performing well on a test. In addition, and you may argue more importantly, we've had a reduction in the number of students that are raised through our internal termly assessment and audit of those with an emotional need. We plan at Devonport High School for Boys to continue to use emotional logic as a tool to support our students and their families. We welcome families to an internal training session every year to share the fundamental basics of emotional logic with them. The support that we've had from the Emotional Logic Centre through our journey has been outstanding, and our relationship with them and our commitment to emotional logic continues to go from strength to strength.